Welcome to Townsville, up the northern coast of Australia for this preliminary final in the Simulation Rugby League Premiership. It's a wet one with the Rabbitohs taking on the Cowboys. Jack O'Neill with me in the commentary box. And Jack, the last game of the season before the grand final, what are we expecting?
There's going to be fireworks. This is going to be an emotional clash. A lot of players could be playing their last games for the club. You look at club legends for the South Sydney like Ash Crutcher and Isaac Edwards moving on. There's going to be a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling in this one. Luka
Moscow came up to me before the game started, and you could just tell in the way that he was speaking that this means a lot. One of those players that you're talking about who is leaving the Cowboys at the end of the season. So a big 80 minutes of footy in front of them. But it's the Rabbitohs set the kick off as referee Rasmussen gets the game underway. And it's the Cowboys in the wet with their hands on the ball for the first set. And it's Stace DePace who charges it forward into what will be presumably a very staunch Rabbitohs defence.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a very, very good start for the Rabbitohs. They got under Stace DePace there and drove him back. That's similar to how Manly started last week against the Cowboys. Of course, I think it was Brad Goodwin who made a really strong run off the kickoff. So the Cowboys' starts haven't been great. To be honest, they've been in a bit of a slump in the sense that they haven't been convincing at all the past few weeks, the Cowboys. Guys like this man, Tyler Almatagi, need to find some form.
You're right, it is the outside backs for the Cowboys who have been scoring predominantly at ease in that first half of the season. It was Bunty Kambolo who's been impressing of those three since Origin, really, but it's up to Luka Moscow and Tyler Amatangi to really get North Queensland out on the front foot early. Whereas for the Rabbitohs, it's Liam Ryan who seems to be consistent at the back, and Jason Laumu, who we've been talking about, was a massive purchase for the Rabbitohs in early season 3. So it'll be those players in particular at the backs, and we'll talk about the forwards in a moment, but it's the Rabbitohs inside the Cowboys red zone in the opening couple of minutes. 10 metres out here, it's Ryan who will play the ball on the finals. They go back to Jake Tuss, the big man, puts the kick up, and it's not a bad one either. Going to come down just short of the try line. It was Moscow who took it, really wasn't under too much pressure at all.
Yeah, the pressure on that kick wasn't great from the Rabbitohs, but they did well to wrap Luka Moscow out, and they have them working out of their own end now, the North Queensland Cowboys. Just to allude a little bit on Almatagi, Kambolo, and Moscow as well, the back three for the Cowboys. You know, you look at their time during the Origin period. Kambolo, he played in the New Zealand Origin match and was really, really strong, whereas I think Almatagi did too, and he suffered a head knock. I wonder what type of effect that's having on him at the back end of this season. Maybe it's a bit of a confidence issue. And then Luka Moscow, he had a really grueling Origin series. He played all 3 games and spent some time at fullback as well. So I think post end of season fatigue has really started to get to the Cowboys, whereas the South, they're starting to look a little bit fresh. They had a good performance last week, but they need to back it up.
A big win against the Broncos in that semi-final. That's the forwards who will be doing the majority of the work in this opening half as the Rabbitohs throw it away, and Kobe Johnston steals a good intercept pass, and they will get possession of the ball just on their own side of halfway. Moana takes it up, so a good opportunity here for the Cowboys to relieve some of that early pressure in this opening 6 or so minutes of the first half as they set it up centre field. They go to Caval, short ball to Johnny Columbus. Sort of cuts back and tests out that left shoulder of Logan Guys as DePace charges it forward this time. It's his 4th hit up of the game already. Final tackle centre field, 25 out. Wallace will go to Moana, who just sort of chips it to the wing of Jai Collins. The captain runs it forward and starts the set here for the Rabbitohs. It's been a wet afternoon here in North Queensland, and it's not something you see every day up in the northern parts of Australia.
No, the Cowboys, they aren't. I wonder how adjusted they're going to be to this weather. I think that overall it probably does suit the Cowboys' play style a little bit better, considering South like to move the ball a little bit more. But, you know, I just want to touch on Jai Collins. He, of course, brought that ball back really well. He's moved to the wing this season after spending most of his SRL career in the centres, and it's been a real revelation for him. I think he's in career best form at the moment.
Scored 3 tries so far this season, Jai Collins, and obviously took the position of Luka Moscow after he left the Rabbitohs at the end of season 2. It's Chris Lord, the skipper. Cuts back on the inside. The Rabbitohs defending once again inside their own half. Tackle 4 here for the Cowboys on the 30s. They go to Caval, goes flat to Amatangi. Hitting a good tackle by Aaron O'Hare. And the North Queensland will be forced to kick from around about 35 metres out. This time they come to the left to Jackson Cutler. Had a good game last week against the Broncos.
Yeah, Cutler's busy early. He's made a couple good breaks now. Cambolo and Columbus really need to adjust the defence on that edge. Big shot.
As we see the Cowboys get the ball back, so a mistake there from the Rabbitohs. Their second mistake of the game, Jack, and 2 mistakes in the opening 11 minutes. The Cowboys will have a good opportunity as they go flat to Johnston. Met hard and some good defence from South Sydney, really being tested on this left edge early on as Caval takes it forward. Cowboys a good opportunity here. Tackle 4, centre field again to Gronk. Steps inside, looks like it was Logan Guys. Takes it to about 2 metres out. So final tackle now. They're going to go back to the pocket. No, they're going to go flat to Moana. He decides to put it up. It's a good kick as well by Moana.
Oh,
Johnny Columbus comes down with it. And the referee calls held very early.
Yeah, I think he probably could have wrestled to the ground there, Columbus. But I think that play there was screaming for a grubber kick in behind. He instead chose to go high, Damien Moana, to his massive left edge. They both are very tall. However, as we see Mendonca put on some footwork here on Cambolo. Sorry, I thought Cambolo probably could have thrown Mendonca over the sideline. But yeah, you know, interesting choice on the last there from Damien Moana, but good pressure from North Queensland building anyway.
We've seen him put it on the toe a few times this season, so just as you alluded to, you're surprised he didn't do it once again. But it was good defence from the Rabbitohs holding Columbus up, and they've got the ball down the opposite end of the park now, and they've got their own opportunity to put it high, as they do through Edwards. A little bit of wind into the Rabbitohs. The first half as Jai Collins taps it back to Liam Ryan, and the Rabbitohs will open the scoring as they go the length of the field in one set. And the Cowboys' defence just can't contain Liam Ryan, and they open the scoring after only 14 and a half minutes.
Yeah, look, a lot to unpack there. Liam Ryan, very fired up after that try. He's usually pretty level-headed, but I think he took exception to Tyler Amatagi dropping the knees underneath him as he went to score. Probably thought that it should have been an 8-point try, but that set from the Cowboys was really, really poor. They had them, you know, working it out from their own 10 and 20 metre line. They let them go the whole length of the field, then score off a kick. Really disappointing set from the Cowboys after they had so much ball and had an opportunity to build some pressure. But for the Rabbitohs, really good set from them and really good try, really good reward for some really strong defence on their goal line.
6 points to 0. It's the Rabbitohs who score the opening points of the preliminary final through Liam Ryan, their vice-captain. Of course, it was the Cowboys who took the win against the Rabbitohs back in round 4. Just after Origin, winning that game 20 points to 10. Luka Moscow scoring twice. These two sides have had some good battles in the past. Two teams who were touted as being Premiership contenders back in season 1, but both really had disappointing early campaigns. Rabbitohs coming back in season 2 and making that final, losing to the Seagulls. Obviously looking to make amends. Meanwhile, for the Cowboys, we've talked about it so many times this season, Jack. The Cinderella story, the fairy tale story of season 3, just coming from an absolute horror season 2 and making some big recruitment moves and just playing with really good strategy throughout the season under the leadership of Chris Lord and their vice captain Damien Moana.
Yeah, it has been a really good story seeing them improve so much, but you know, I think that they'll be really disappointed if they do end this season by going out in straight sets with such a dominant season they did have, as Liam Ryan makes a strong break. Good take from him under pressure. But, you know, you mentioned this 4th place, you know, you mentioned Cinderella stories, but there's always this little story with 4th place or 3rd place making a good run in the finals. Usually it's 4th. It's South Sydney, Canada. By everyone, they've started this game really strongly, so I'm really excited to see how they go for the rest of this game.
Aaron O'Hare continuing to control the play the ball at the moment as he goes short side this time to Collins. Through the middle, Jai Collins, and he dots down on the left side, palms 2 or 3 defenders. What a try to the Rabbitohs captain.
What an individual effort from my boy Jai Collins. It's just sheer determination. He's been fired up this whole game. I mentioned his move to the wing and how good that's been for his career. And what an absolute beautiful effort. Some shocking defense from the Cowboys. They've had a shocking last 5 minutes. But Jai Collins, what a start he's had, and what a beautiful try.
Palming off 3 defenders. A massive try for the Rabbitohs, and the Cowboys, well, they look stunned at the moment in front of their home crowd. You mentioned earlier on, can they adapt to the wet conditions? And almost the first quarter of the game gone. Trailing 10 points to 0. Ash Crutcher can't convert from out wide this time. But a big time play for the Rabbitohs skipper. And they are in the front at the moment.
Yeah, as a former Rabbitoh, you know, I didn't take kindly to what you were saying about our season 1. We were cheated out of the finals by the Warriors, of course. But, you know, that's that. But, you know, I'm very proud of the effort so far from the Rabbitohs. They've just been really turning up defensively, and they're poking their heads through the line every single run. They've had a really, really good start. The Cowboys, they really need to find some intensities. That kick from Ash Crutcher is not a good kick. I just gave them some massive praise, but that was a pretty poor end to the set by the Rabbitohs. But yeah, now the Cowboys, sorry to interrupt, Kamish, but they've got to use this ball. They've got to find some points, or they've got to find a repeat set. They've just got to build some pressure.
Just overcooking it there, Ash Crutcher. He was looking for Thomas Mendonca on the wingers. I think it was Bunty Kambola had sort of come infield on Drake Dranigan. A couple of players have made their way onto the park. I can see Tellis Rife out there for the Rabbitohs. Cameron Relentless and Drake Dranigan as well. Rabbitohs defence will be tested here as Wallace goes right. Moana cuts out to Amatangi, standing in the tackle, decides to hold on to it. Flat this time to Namana. Callum Irwin on the park as well. The final tackle here, they'll go back to Koval, who'll put it up. Win behind the Cowboys in the first half, and it just drifts a little bit too deep. But the Cowboys do chase well, and they force the Rabbitohs down in the end goal. As Crutcher will restart from the line dropout. Not a deep one, only goes just beyond the 30, so the Cowboys will end the set, you'd think, down towards the try line. So that's Wallace, comes left side to Koval. That's a horrible pass from Rohan Koval. And the Cowboys have let the Rabbitohs off the hook there.
Yeah, just Cambolo probably should have got on his bike a little bit more, but I wonder if he thought that his centre was going to catch that and then he was going to run onto a pass from his centre, Johnny Columbus, but it's just really poor, as that's a good tackle from Gronk, but that's a really, really poor communication from the Cowboys after a really, really good set. You know, they had a good set before, and then that kick was probably, like you said, a little bit too deep. They showed a lot of effort and intensity to get down there and throw Liam Ryan back into the in goal, but then, you know, they just give up really cheap possession. Now the Rabbitohs can strike back.
It did look as though the ball slipped out of the hands of Cavall. It went flat, if not forward, ever so slightly, as the Cowboys have now given away a penalty. So frustration starting to creep into North Queensland after only 25 minutes of play. And this will not be pleasing for Chris Lord.
No, he's definitely very animated out there at the moment with his side. Bunty Cambolo, he's been probably the Cowboys' form player the past few weeks, but he's just getting it wrong a bit tonight. I think he needs some senior players to just get around him and just remind him of his job.
Biggest game of the season for the young rookie. As you mentioned, he's been one of the standouts as Ryan through the middle. Liam Ryan
tackle
at ease. A great tackle on him by Amatangi. A definite try save as Edwards takes it on himself. He's taken down a metre short. Tackle 4 as O'Hare goes flat to Logan Guys. He's been in the try-scoring news last couple of weeks. Final tackle now. Good opportunity for the Rabbitohs as Crutcher tries to get it away. Can't do so as the Cowboys defence comes up. Namana runs about 40 metres down the park. Had Luka Moscow on his outside, but decided to hold on to it. So the Cowboys breaking down the field, but a big opportunity gone missing there as Crutcher just couldn't quite get the kick away. It was good defence from the Cowboys rushing up on him. As they come left side to Bunty Cambolo, 3 Rabbitohs defenders forced to take him to the ground. It was his first run of the game so far as Lord gets a good short ball from Wallace. Running off the shoulder, 21 metres out here. Tackle 4 as Amatangi spots a gap and goes straight through the middle, and Tyler Amatangi opens the scoring for the Cowboys.
We've been demanding Tyler to get more involved, but saying he's a bit out of form. Liam Ryan makes a similar break. He makes a big tackle and he strikes right back for his side. What an absolute scintillating run, and the Cowboys, they're back in this one.
Stepped off the right inside. Aaron O'Hare was left absolute fleet-footed. Slippery conditions may have contributed, but it was Amatangi who just ran a great line. And with that amount of speed, there was not much Liam Ryan could do. He was trapped on the left edge. I think he was looking for the inside ball to Moana, but not able to come across fast enough, and the Cowboys respond after 28.5 minutes. 10 points to 6. The Rabbitohs out in front at the moment. This preliminary final live from Townsville, North Queensland, or Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The Simulation Rugby League Premiership live on SRL TV.
He's held there. That's one.
The winner of this game to play the Manly Seagulls in the Season 3 final is... Couldn't see who that was. It could have been Casey Namana who made a good charge up.
Callum Irwin.
Callum Irwin was it. Now it's Kasakau. He's had a quiet first 30 minutes, Jamal Kasakau. He'll be dangerous in the second half as Amatangi looks to get his hands on the ball more after that try.
Moana's taken the run here. It'll be interesting to see what type of kick they put in and who's going to take it with him out of play. It's going to be Cooper Gronk that places it into the corner. Just a little bit too low, I think. I think that a little grubber would have gone well there, considering the conditions. Try and put Collins under a bit more pressure or throw a bomb up. But regardless, the Rabbitohs, they're working out of their own end now. The Cowboys, they need to stand up defensively here. They've been letting themselves down with letting the Rabbitohs get cheap yardage out of their own end. They need to stand up.
A fiery opening 20 or so minutes from the Rabbitohs. Looks as though the Cowboys are starting to find a little bit of consistency or confidence as Edwards this time. It's Isaac Edwards puts it over the sideline. Second time tonight that the Rabbitohs have done that. Inside their own half as well. Just the ball slipping off the side of the boot.
Yeah, they're playing to the conditions. You know, early kicks are very important in wet weather footy and defending strongly, but those kicks have got to be perfect, especially with the slippery weather, as you alluded to. As Al Matagi's through.
Up into the 10. Dangerous every time he touches the ball as Wallace goes short side. They go to Jamal Kasaka. The big second rower charges over. Crutcher can't stop him. He will go upstairs. Referee Perenara may have seen something, but I'm calling that a try, Jack.
Yeah, for sure. He's got this ball down. You called him quiet, and he heard you, Kamish. He's come up with a very crucial try. But this goal is very, very crucial for the context of the rest of this game. Can the Cowboys strike the lead after being on the back foot for the most part of 30 minutes?
10-all here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium as the wind has changed direction. I'm looking at the flags. It looks as though it's changed direction 180 degrees, and I might be behind the Cowboys as Caval looks to send this one over. Yes, it has. Quite drastically. Amazing what the wind can do up in the Northern Territory. 10 points all. Locked up with 7.5 minutes remaining until half time.
Yeah, look, Kamish, you know, one thing that I've spoken about is that the Cowboys halves a lot of the time can keep them in games with their kicking when they get it right. You look at the game against Parramatta where, you know, Parramatta probably were the better side for a lot of that contest, but it was Damian Moana whose kicking was a lot better than Charlie Butler, who really struggled to put in good kicks. And we're seeing a similar thing happen here in the sense that the Cowboys' kicks, they're going a lot further than the kicks of South Sydney. South Sydney have had 2 kicks out on the full now, which has really hindered their ability to sustain the pressure that they put on. As Callum Irwin's going to make a break now. Good ball.
Tackle 3 up into the Rabbitohs half. The Cowboys go as they go flat to Namana. Thomas Wallace is controlling this game quite remarkably at the moment. Interesting to see if Kieran Wells will come on at half-time in that number 9 jersey. We have seen it in the past. I know you're a fan of that rotation, Jack, but with Wallace playing so well at the moment, I wonder whether they might consider a slight different change.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think Wallace usually moves into that 13 role. If they make that change again, then that might be the right one, because Kieran Wells, he'll offer something different. You know, the thing about this game is that he could come on and he could just offer something different that could blow this game open as Liam Bryan makes a strong run. I think that that's probably the go for the Cowboys. You know, they've got themselves back into this game. They've worked hard, and now Kieran Wells can come on and make an impact around the Tide defenders.
Get back, look at me. He's held there.
Right side they come. Tuss finds O'Hare on the inside. A great offload from the big lock forward. Hamida out as Crutcher. They go back to the pocket. It's Edwards to put it high. Another kick that's come down a little bit too deep. Liam Ryan juggles it, but the Cowboys pounce and they tie him up. They chuck a lasso around him and Ryan can't get the ball down.
That's a massive effort for Liam Ryan. I think he went into dummy half because Aaron O'Hare was tackled. And then I think the left side of the South Sydney chase did overrun the kick of Ash Crutcher. So Liam Ryan has made a huge effort to get there and contest it, and he's almost come up with points. He's been really, really strong tonight, Liam Ryan.
Through the hands they go. Cooper Gronk sends a wide ball out to Caval, who just decides to take the tackle just short of the Cowboys 40. Looks like they're going to kick early. They do. Damian Moana just pumps it deep down to the Rabbitohs line. That's a massive kick from the Cowboys half. Ryan will be forced to return this, but a big tackle on him by number 11. That was Jamal Kasaka. So the Cowboys look to be pumped up at the moment. Just over a minute until half time. Looking to possibly force an error here from the Rabbitohs as Ryan almost gets it away. Big tackle on him.
Oh, no.
And a penalty. The second one of the half. That was Damian Moana who put it down. Ash Crutcher will find the sideline. 45 seconds until the break.
Do they look for a long-range field goal at the end of this set, Commish, to try and break that deadlock? Or do they
I'm
just try
still
and
trying to figure out which
manage
way
home?
this wind's going. I mean, that would determine if they go for it. 40 metres out, you'd probably look for someone like a Jake Tuss to put one over, but this will be the last tackle. They might get one tackle remaining. No, that's half-time here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. We'll be back soon after this break. So 10-all here at half-time. It's the Rabbitohs who got off to that early lead. 2 tries, Liam Ryan crossing first, Jai Collins, that magnificent try, fending off 3 defenders who scored their second, a 10-point lead, but it was the Cowboys who came back through Tyler Amatangi first of all, and then a big charging run from their second rower, Jamal Kasakau. 12 out of 13 completions for the Cowboys, 8 out of 13 for the Rabbitohs. Jack, it's wet conditions. What is the most important thing these players need to concentrate with 40 minutes remaining?
Yeah, there's 3 things for me. I think defense is obviously super important, making sure you're not conceding any penalties like the Cowboys have twice in this game. Obviously, cutting those errors out is very, very crucial. Souths have obviously made quite a number of errors. But the big one for me is getting the kicking game right. We saw South Sydney's kicking game started off really strong. They got up to that good lead, then some errors crept in their game, some silly kicks, and the Cowboys worked their way back in. It's been a really even first half. Look at the tackle count. Both teams have made 91 tackles. The only difference is South Sydney 10 more line breaks than the Cowboys, have missed 6 fewer tackles than the Cowboys as well. So the Cowboys, they do need to adjust their defense.
Yeah, some interesting stats that you look at that. There's 5 errors for the Rabbitohs, a couple of those coming off kicks, but then 2 penalties against the Cowboys. Tackles even, as you mentioned, missed tackles. We've talked about the Rabbitohs defence, not just this season, but also in Season 2. Resolute at the best of times. Only 7 missed tackles in the entire 40 minutes of footy, and then 20 line breaks for the Rabbitohs. So stats for either side at the moment, 10-all. Where's this one going to go?
Oh, it's such a tough one. You know, you mentioned the defensive Souths. I think it was definitely those defensive structures that I put in Season 1 finally coming to effect. But no, I just think the Cowboys will be able to manage this one a bit better than South Sydney. I'm tipping Damian Moana to win them this game off the back of his boot.
Well, there's 40 minutes of 40 remaining for one of these teams. The other will be moving into the Season 3 SRL Grand Final. We'll have all the action coming up after the short break. Welcome back to Queensland Country Bank Stadium here in Townsville. The second half of the preliminary final. Set to see one team progress to the Season 3 Grand Final to take on Manly.
Ooh.
The other to end their season, and I don't know, Jack, but that looked like either a knock-on or a forward pass from the Rabbitohs to start that second half.
Yeah, I'm just getting the replay up on my other screen, Kamish. I'll be able to let you know what happened there. Liam Ryan caught it. It definitely looked like it took a deflection of a South's hand. I think the ref said that it was his leg, but no, if it was a leg, then it's an accidental offside. So a bit of a controversial start. And you can see the Cowboys, they're still blowing up about it, but they need to focus on the game. It's a very, very irregular start to the halves. Usually we see pretty stock standard. You know, the front row just takes it, gets it back to about that 20-metre line. But, you know, something a bit different. I think that Kieran Wells, I believe he has come onto the field. I mentioned just the need for something a bit different as Luka Moscow. He might provide that great run. He's been pretty quiet the last few weeks, but that's a really good start. So he hangs on for a pretty long time. But yeah, there's Wells at dummy half. I think he can provide something different for the Cowboys. I think both sides, they had really, really strong first halves. But I think they do have to adjust their attacking style slightly to try and break up the defence.
Kieran Wells has come on for Thomas Wallace. And Zach Smith has made his way into the centres for Johnny Columbus. Meanwhile, for the Rabbitohs, Ashea Lay on for Tallis Rife. And Dawson Swarm on for Thomas Mendonca. He's had a tough couple of seasons, Thomas Mendonca, and not used to being subbed at half-time, but I'm sure we haven't seen the last of him tonight, and I'm sure we haven't seen the last of him in the Rabbitohs jersey. Obviously, he's off to the Eels for Season 4, but no doubt those four players that have come off for either side will be back on at some stage in the second 40. But both sides getting through their first sets of the second half. Okay, as the Rabbitohs look a little bit shaky, you'd have to say. The rain's still coming down, and they were definitely under a bit of pressure in the latter stages of that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, look, I think that Vigo's still got his South jersey on under that ref's jersey, because I could have sworn that was another knock-on from South Sydney. But regardless, you do mention they just look a bit unsteady at the moment, which I think the Cowboys are aware of as Ash Crutcher. That's definitely a better kick from Crutcher, all things considered. Definitely put Cambolo on the back foot, and they defend him well. That's what's going to be most important. We mentioned it in the halftime show. We need to see a good kicking game from South if they're going to stay in this game.
Moana has shaped up as one of the best kickers in the competition so far this season. We all know the Rabbitohs' reputation they have with Isaac Edwards and Ash Crutcher. But both sides will be looking to have a dominant territorial advantage. It'll be a bit of an arm wrestle, I'd say, for the first 10 minutes or so. It's Kaval to kick this time. Looking for the 40-20 by the looks of it. Ryan does well. Sort of tiptoes towards that sideline and does well to stay in the field of play given these wet conditions. A little bit muddy as well. You can see the field is starting to get torn up as we move through this game. There's guys. Sorry, Jack, what was that?
I just said the first error is crucial. The first person or the first team to make a pretty big error coming out of their yardage might just decide a lot of the path for this half. Big rap to Liam Ryan. He's displayed a lot of really good balance this season. He's saved a lot of 40-20s, whereas we usually see, especially in conditions like these, the fullbacks slip out or put a toe on the sideline when they do try and catch those early kicks.
As we see Moscow return, it's a good return from the Cowboys' right winger. He'll be looking to inject himself more into the game in the second 40 minutes. Moana and Wells at dummy half. The captain, Lord, finds Kaval, centre field or just to the left of it. Just short of the halfway line here, the Cowboys. They stay left to Kasaka. Scored a good try in the first half. Getting on the board once again, Jamal Kasaka. That's Mobiston, mobbed by a couple of Rabbitohs players in defence. And he gets up a little bit slowly there, Robbo Mobiston. Gets the play the ball as Kaval kicks into this headwind. Ryan to return it, but once again, good chase from the Cowboys outside backs. We'd led once again by Jamal Kasakau.
Yeah, Kasakau's kick chase so far tonight has been really, really impressive. He's had a couple good runs and a couple really good tackles as well to go along with that try that he scored in the first half.
Chris Lord complaining about a possible forward pass. Couple of sets back, and to me it definitely did look like the ball drifted forward from the hands of Ash Crutcher. As Swarm will kick, that's Dawson. Now Matangi to get it, and he does well to stay inside the field of play as well. So both fullbacks being tested by the opposite halves, and standing up at the moment is Kasakau's given away the ball. Crutcher comes away with it. Kasakau was looking for Casey Namana, who was hanging just on the inside of him. The ball slipping out of his hands. So the Rabbitohs will have the first opportunity of the second half to put points on the board. 15 metres out. They stay left. Edwards goes to Laumu. He's had a quiet game so far, Jason Laumu. Still around about 15 metres out. Collins at dummy half. They go to Ryan. Cowboys don't allow him any room to move. Final tackle. South Sydney will be forced to kick deep from the pocket, about 25 out. It's Edwards to put it high. Cowboys for a moment thought they were going to let it bounce, but they take it and then bring it out for the 20 for the restart.
Yeah, a couple of things to note there. Liam Ryan was tackled on the fourth, meaning he couldn't chase those fifth tackle kicks, which he's so good at. We saw it a couple of times in the first half, and we've seen it all season. But, you know, that was a really good taught bomb from Ash Crutcher. I think he was trying to force an error out of the Cowboys, but stays to pace. He positioned himself so that he was facing his own try line, so that if he did spill it, it would go backwards and then he could regather it, and he ended up taking it in the in goal. So really good result there for the Cowboys.
Good set so far here by North Queensland, started by a good run from Chris Lord and then Robbo Mobiston. Tackle 4, they're about 30 metres out. They go right to Kobe Johnston. Taken down just inside the Rabbitohs 20. Moana to put it high. That's a testing kick for Mendonca. Cutler takes it, and he does well in wet conditions. Hands outstretched above him. Had a couple of Cowboys players coming through, putting the pressure on him, but Jackson Cutler doing well in the wet. As Remy charges forward, and a high tackle on Mason Remy. The Cowboys' third penalty of the game, and they will gift Rabbitohs to get outside their own half.
Yeah, I want to have another look at that high tackle. I thought that it was a pretty fair challenge, but yeah, look, it was a great run for Mason Remy, and yeah, he was just clipped around the face. No malice in it, really.
Nah, just clipped him around the chin there.
For sure, penalty sufficient. But you know what, the Cowboys were looking pretty good in that set until that error as Ash Crutcher goes straight through.
Tell you what though, the Cowboys are going to be careful. They were given a sin bin warning in the second half after that second penalty. So that's their first penalty of the second half. So you'd have to say that if the Cowboys give away another penalty, they could be looking at a player in the bin as the Rabbitohs hot on attack. Coming down tackle 4, it's Crutcher, 8 or 9 metres out, flat to Logan Guys. Hard to stop this close to the line, but it's Robbo Mobiston who comes in to join Jamal Kasakau, and they hold him up. One tackle remaining from the 10. They'll put it up for Edwards, a shallow kick, and no chasers coming through as Matangi takes it.
I wonder what's going on with Isaac Edwards tonight. He has been clinical since that Origin series. Remember, his kicking game was on another planet, but he's just not quite hitting his straps at the moment tonight. As Cambolo with some footwork, good tackle there from Liam Ryan. But the Cowboys, they defended pretty well in that set. They threw a lot at them, South Sydney, but they managed to hold on. But they need to get through this set with no errors. They need to improve their discipline. Their discipline in recent weeks has been really poor, and it's something that Chris Lord has spoken about a lot to the team. So it's not like, you know, it's something that hasn't been addressed, but, you know, high tackles and held-in tackles, it's just not good enough in the Cowboys at the moment, discipline-wise.
Well, I've just seen a replay of that tackle on Mason Remy, and it was Kieran Wells who gave away the penalty. And I tell you what, Kieran Wells is not the biggest player on the park compared to Mason Remy. Did an incredible job to get up to the chin of the big prop forward as Cavall puts it high. That's a good kick from Cavall, testing out Jai Collins, and the Rabbitohs skipper takes it down with confidence.
Discipline.
As Jack O'Neill calls out discipline, Drake Dranigan gives away the ball on tackle 1 inside the Rabbitohs 20. Worst possible scenario for South Sydney. So it's Almatangi, 18 metres out as Wells looks to dummy and dart. Does so, snags an extra couple of metres. Lord charging it forward, the skipper inside the Rabbitohs 10. 6 out here. They come right side. Cavall inside to Johnny Columbus. He'll be held up on the line. Takes a step back, so final tackle to the toe goes Cavall. Picked up well by Isaac Edwards. As the bounce of the ball doesn't favour Thomas Wallace or Damien Moana.
Yeah, I think that kick was actually intended for Kobe Johnson. I believe he's the second rower on that edge, but he just overran it. It would have been perfect if he had timed his run properly, but it is hard to time your run when your team is so close to the try line at dummy half. It does make it difficult, but discipline. They can't give away any stupid penalties. They've got to cover for early kicks, and they've got to make their tackles in this set.
Ryan has been busy both sides of half-time. He continues to put pressure on that Cowboys defensive line. Crutcher kicks down to the wing of Campolo, who had a quiet first 40 minutes but looks to be winding into things as some of these tired Rabbitohs forwards struggle to get away as Alay comes away with it. The Cowboys forcing one too many. Shea Alay, his first touch of the game is an intercept. Guys charging through, and now the Rabbitohs have given the ball away. So 13 and a half minutes gone in the second half. Sorry, 23 and a half minutes gone in the second half. Still no change to the halftime score. The rain continues to come down, but both sides looking a little bit nervous as we enter into the final quarter of this preliminary final.
Yeah, look, I'm really concerned about how any team is going to back up next week. It's been physical. The ball has been in play for the majority of the game. You know, they've got to play a grand final next week, one of these sides. It's Almatagi. What a desperation tackle for Liam Ryan. That's a finals tackle right there. The kick is perfect. Maybe not. Moana, he takes it, but he will be dragged down. Now the South Sydney, their turn to respond.
Ball just didn't bounce up for Moana how he would have liked it. He had to sort of cut back in field to regather. And if the ball had just kept up its momentum, I think Moana would have been running a different angle. There's Remy. Yeah, Remy will set it up. Good couple of tackles here from the Cowboys, looking to force an error by the looks of it. Chris Lord very vocal at the moment as the Rabbitohs. They stay short side. Ryan seems to be everywhere at the moment. There's Gronk. Takes him down.
Cooper Gronk has had 2 big tackles in this set. One on Collins and then one on Liam Ryan. That has set the tone of this set. It's been a really, really good couple of minutes for Cooper Gronk.
Isaac Edwards complaining to the referee there, trying to get the penalty. He knows exactly, or he knows that the Cowboys have, or are possibly on their last warning, and just playing with the Cowboys at the moment as Wells darts for the second time. Steals an extra 10 metres this time as the Cowboys look to set something up as Lord fills the role of what would usually be Amatangi on that cutback on the inside.
You mentioned the held in tackle penalties, Commish. They've really let it go tonight, the referees. They've really tried to let the players decide the outcome. I've only seen 2, which both were the Cowboys being penalised, as you alluded to as well. But, you know, it's been good. There's been a couple moments where I thought a penalty could have been blown. In club footy, it probably would have been. But it's been good to see the game flow and real fatigue enter as that's a perfectly weighted kick. But the chase just overran Liam Ryan and failed to throw him in. But yet again, South Sydney working it off their line.
Yeah, it was only Thomas Wallace who really got up for that kick. The ball sort of swirling in the wind, he misjudged it, and no real pressure for Liam Ryan there. Logan Guys take it forward. So Counting down, almost close to 10 minutes to go in this game. And you'd have to say, Jack, we are getting pretty close to field goal.
Yeah, we're going to see an early kick here from Edwards with his big right boot, and it is a pearler. Oh, sorry.
The wind has taken that into the grandstand. I thought he was going for the 40-20 from behind the 30. And the ball has just travelled all the way over the sideline into the front tier of the eastern grandstand. The Cowboys will get it from the Rabbitohs 30, so massive. Is that a turning point in this game?
For sure. Good defence from Southland. Zach Smith, one missed tackle, but then they flew into him. I thought our Matagi should have took the line on there. You know, I think the wind definitely did catch that ball. It did look good off the boot, which is why I got a bit excited, but, you know, I think I'm going to curse that kick from Isaac Edwards. But I was about to ask who was going to get South Sydney out of this mess. They've been on their own line for what feels like the last 15 minutes. Someone needs to stand up big time. The Cowboys are starting to figure Liam Ryan out a little bit. Someone else. Oh, so Moana kicks an early field goal.
10 minutes out and Moana slots it through the middle. The Cowboys take the lead for the first time tonight.
Great kick, great option. You know, they haven't been at... South defence has been really, really strong on their goal line. Both sides' goal line defence has been really, really strong, actually, especially in this second half. And Moana, he didn't have much pressure on them because they were anticipating a set play. So he thought, why not snap a 1 point? Really, really good play from him. But
right.
South, this is a good opportunity for them. For once, the Cowboys are back from their own half, so if they just defend hard now, they can try and lock this game up.
I said that that kick out in the full from Isaac Edwards could be a turning point in this game. And with 9 minutes remaining, these 9 minutes can go very fast or they can go very slow, depending on what side of the ledger you're on. And I think for the Rabbitohs, these 9 minutes could go very fast if they don't get themselves either a penalty or force a mistake in these next couple of Cowboys sets. Kasakau taking it forward. The Rabbitohs at home leading by 1 point at the moment after trailing by 10 after the first 20 minutes. Cavell kicks behind his 40. Can't get the angle right for the 40-20 as Jackson Cutler was back to defend.
Yeah, South, they've got to work this ball out now. Liam Ryan's going to have to get involved as O'Shea Olay takes this run. I'm not sure where their points are going to be found. Maybe they can try and kick a field goal if they're getting good field position. There's not much time left on the clock for Souths. In all honesty, they might get another set after this set when the Cowboys get the ball back if they don't score, as O'Shea Olay makes another good run. Never
count the Rabbitohs out. We've known anything can happen in the SRL. And the Rabbitohs are down the right end of the field. I'm not sure if they're close enough to the try line to really threaten from this bomb. As Edwards will put it up. A little bit of wind behind the Rabbitohs, and they let it bounce the Cowboys. They're going to have to get out of their own line. Chris Lord trying, and the Rabbitohs, they've forced another set.
Good chase. I thought the chase let them down, but they got Chris Lord in the in goal. South Sydney, they're coming to get him.
What a frantic 6 minutes of SRL action we have in front of us. The Rabbitohs looking to go back-to-back in the grand final. The Cowboys looking to make their first ever SRL grand final. 5.5 minutes remaining. Ryan darts around the tackle of Moscow. 11 metres out. On the far sideline, the Rabbitohs on attack at the moment. O'Shea Lay charging it forward. The Cowboys' defence stretched at the moment. 5 out, they go to Crutcher. Long ball to Edwards. Chris Lord, Isaac Edwards. Edwards pushes, and Edwards looks to have got the ball down. The Rabbitohs, we're going to go upstairs. They look to have taken the lead once again.
What a set. What a game. South Sydney, they stand up when they need to. I honestly thought they were going to call a penalty in the play before, but they shift out wide to Isaac Edwards. And it's just strength and determination from a man who's had a pretty unhappy night at times off the boot. And the Queensland Maroons 5/8 goes in and could have won this game for the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Looking to take it out. It just goes on the inside of the left-hand upright. So the Rabbitohs have a 5-point lead at the moment. 4 minutes remaining here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The Rabbitohs in the front seat. What a preliminary final we have seen. The Cowboys, they need to force an error. Do they go for a short kickoff? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's not a common occurrence to the SRL. He goes long Kaval. They're going to back their defence. Souths cannot afford an error now.
Relentless. The smallest player on the field. They go left to Alay, and they've given it away. Unbelievable. The young rookie has just thrown the ball away. The Cowboys have one final opportunity to take it at the death, possibly. They'll need a converted try. Columbus, Wells at dummy half to Almatangi. They're about 10 out. Almatangi takes it to 9. Tackle 3. Wells to Moana. Moana decides to take the line on. Still 2 tackles remaining. The last opportunity for the Cowboys. Lord, the captain. Can he push himself over? Chris Lord. Chris Lord. Has he got it down? Referee says held up. 1 tackle remaining. The Cowboys for Moana. He'll put it up. The chasers come through, but it's Liam Ryan who takes it. I'd love to see a replay of the Chris Lord put down. I don't know if we're going to get one.
Surely there must have been an arm under there that the referee saw, but surely we go to the bunker.
Big call from referee Rasmussen to not go upstairs.
Wow, that soured the game a little bit. What a game.
Under a minute remaining. Laumu wraps the ball up. Cowboys will get one final kick return. O'Hare to put it deep to Cambolo. Can Bunty Cambolo do something? He can't. The Rabbitohs have defended him well in this game. Final tackle, it's Chris Lord. Gives it to Kieran Wells, and the Rabbitohs will head to the grand final for the 2nd season in a row. The Cowboys' season is over. What a game we've seen.
I'm almost speechless. That was an amazing game of rugby league. We saw it all. We saw grind. We saw committed defence. We saw some scintillating tries. We saw controversy. Just what a game. I wonder if we could get a replay on that held up for Chris Lord. I think it'd be really important to see that because they're definitely going to feel hard done by the North Queensland Cowboys, but that's one of the best games we've seen.
What a game. 16 points to 11. It was the Cowboys who took the lead late in that second half through Damien Moana field goal. Got a try to Isaac Edwards with only about 5 minutes remaining. Pushing over the line from about 4 or 5 metres out. I think no one expected that. That's why he sort of took the Cowboys by surprise. A pretty even contest. We talked about a lot of facets of the game at half time. And I think that things sort of continue through the second half. The Rabbitohs had the most line breaks, the least missed tackles. The Cowboys conceding 3 penalties in that game, whereas the Rabbitohs gave away so many errors. An even contest, Jack.
Yeah, it was an even contest. You know, the tackle count is very even, a little bit, of course, skewed towards the Cowboys, but for me, I would love to see a field position stat because for a good 15 minutes of that game, it was a relentless attack from the Cowboys on South's line. They only conceded 1 point in that second half to South Sydney, which is a really, really good effort from them. But I think we do have to talk about it. Did Chris Lord get that ball down?
I think it's something that's going to be talked about for the next couple of days at least until we can move on with I guess, the grand final. But, you know, I hope we do get a replay later on in this video so we can actually see what happened. But either way, it's the Rabbitohs who will move on and take on Manly in the Season 3 Grand Final, a rematch from Season 2, Jack.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for that one. There is a replay feature you can use, if not commish, if you really want to have a look at it in depth. But, you know, we think there's so many storylines going into this grand final now. You know, you look at South Sydney, they're trying to get revenge on Manly, who did beat them in last season's grand final. And all season, I've questioned a lot about South Sydney, you know, whether they're getting complacent, whether it's time for change at the club. But, you know, this performance tonight was just so spirited. There was so much effort, so much intensity. Still a fair few errors that they do need to cut out and address, but, you know, they were just really, really inspiring. But the Cowboys, they shouldn't hang their head. They performed admirably tonight. They've had a great season, such an improvement on last season, and so much to build on for the Cowboys as well. Liam Ryan, looking at his stats there, 198 run meters. He made 10 line breaks. He was a menace against the North Queensland Cowboys. A try as well. Really impressed with a lot of those players. You look at, you know, guys who, like Ash Crutcher, who, you know, he's played some big games, but he's never been able to get that premiership. He's never been able to get one of those real big game victories. But he stood up tonight as well with some pretty solid kicking, but he ran the ball a lot as well. Yeah, just a great performance from South Sydney, and they've earned their place in the grand final.
Aaron O'Hare also, you know, really stood up when he needed to. You know, I don't think the hookers really get as many credits as they, or compared to other players, and as many as they deserve. But 25 tackles, no missed tackles, a rock-on defence tonight, Aaron O'Hare. But also just controlled the ruck really well for the Rabbitohs, especially in that first 20 minutes of the first half, and then the second 20 minutes of the second half. At, I guess you'd say, the most important parts of the game, the first 20, the last 20.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good points from you there. I'm just, you know, I'm really proud as a former South Sydney player. I think that, you know, that arguably one of the most dominant clubs in recent SRL history, and yeah, it's just a really good all-around performance from South. I think that they've really done the jersey proud.
Okay, thanks for joining me, Jack. That is the end of the preliminary final for Season 3. Join us next week. It's the Manly Seagulls taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs in the Season 3 Grand Final, live here on SRL TV.